Okay, so we will continue with Birkot HaShachar. Today we're going to do the bracha of Hamechin Mitzadei Gaber, right? Hamechin Mitzadei Gaber, which is the 10th or 11th bracha. Which one is it? 11th bracha. Hamechin Mitzadei Gaber, who makes man's footsteps stable. That's how they translate it here. How to translate it there?
Who directs the steps of man.
Yeah, that sounds better. It directs the steps of man. Well, Mechin is like prepare. He prepares the steps of man. So they say, or there's a story from 2002. It was a very cold winter day in Russia in 2002, and a group of yeshiva students were traveling on a train on their way back to yeshiva, to Minsk in Russia. And as the train was going back, the winds were picking up, the temperature went down, the snow was falling very strongly. At some point the crew saw that the snow was completely covering the train tracks and that they could not continue. So they had to stop the train in the middle of Russia and let people know, we're stopping because of this. So people ask him, okay, how long will it be? He said, I don't know, maybe 24 hours. And as this continues until it clears up or somebody clears it up, it's going to be a while that we can continue safely. So yeah, they called for help, this, that, and the Bachrim are saying, we're not going to stay here. We're not going to stay here for 24 hours. Now they're in the middle of nowhere. It's not like they're on a train station. But they get out of the train and they start trekking through the snow, trying to find a nearby place. And they find a village. They say, oh, who knows, maybe there's a Jew here. No, maybe we can do some mivtzoyim or do something, even though it was nighttime already. And they find someone and they ask him, is there a synagogue here? So yeah, there's a little synagogue in the back here, there, whatever. Okay. So they follow the instructions and going in between houses, trekking, and they find a little house. The light was on. And they go in and they find an older fellow crying bitterly in the corner of the shul. So they go to him, what's going on? Let us help you. Why are you crying? This, that. He was inconsolable until he started telling his story. He says, I was born in Poland before World War I. And me and my father survived the Holocaust. And my father was a very special guy. He was always joyful, full of happiness, in a way that he was contagious, in a way that he would make a lot of other people happy. He knew how to make other people happy and influence them. And the Nazis found out that there was a man in the ghetto that was making people happy. He says, no, this is not good. The Nazis went, grabbed him, and gave him a beating that should have killed him, and warned him, no more of this happy nonsense of yours. But his father couldn't hold himself back. That was who he was. So he kept as much as he could with the beating that he had, making people happy. And they caught him a second time, and they beat him even worse, to the point where he almost really died. And this old Jew was telling the stories, and then we received word that not too far away we could go and see the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And we're talking about the previous Rebbe, right? Who at some point lived in Poland, but he also lived in Latvia. I'm not sure where exactly he was at this point because it doesn't say the year. But we decided to put ourselves in danger and go talk to him, get his blessing, because we weren't sure this wasn't looking good. We weren't going to survive the next meeting. And so they went to the Rebbe, they told him what was going on, and the Rebbe gave him a blessing for a long life, and gave him a blessing that everybody should remember him. And he's saying, the Rebbe's blessing came true. My father lived to 102. So why are you crying? I mean, we expected a sad story, but it ended up being a very happy story. Why are you crying? He says, why am I crying? Today's his yard site. And I don't even have a minyan to say Kaddish. And he says, my dear Jew, open your eyes. Count us. We are 9 Bachurim. Plus you, we have a minyan. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So they davened Ma'ariv. Next morning, they were still with him. They davened Shacharit. They davened Mincha. Afternoon, they go back to the train because it was 24 hours, and they got back. Oh, now they fixed, we can go. And they went on their way. So Hashgacha Pratit, there's 2 things that happen here. Number 1, Hashgacha Pratit. Hashem was trying to help them, push them to be there for this guy. And also, it was their decision to get off the train. There wasn't a sign that says, Jew that needs 9 Bachrim this way. They decided to get off the train, and that's why they found him. And this is exactly the purpose of this bracha. Now, we saw a few weeks ago the bracha Oif Pokeach Ivrim, who opens the eyes of the blind, and we explained it in 2 ways. We explained that number 1, we wanted Hashem to give us the strength to be able to see, not only to understand, but to see clearly the difference between right and wrong. Because Anoten la sechvi bina le'avchin, who gives the rooster the ability to differentiate between good and evil. Okay, you have the ability to do it, but sometimes that's not enough, right? We say you want to be able to see it clearly. But the other explanation of Pokeach Ivrim is, Hashem, please allow me to see the Divine Providence, so that when things happen, I can appreciate and say, oh, look, this happened. This bracha also has to do with Hashgacha Pratit, but in a different level, as we're going to see. Where does this start? Yes, you can put it by the Bina. Yes. Okay. Now, in the most basic way, when we talk about Hamichim Mitzadei Gaver, who guides the steps of man, again, we said it yesterday. Yesterday we found out we have firm, dry land to walk on, and here are steps where we can walk. No? So we're thanking Hashem for the ability to walk, which involves a whole bunch of muscles and bones and ligaments and whatever. A lot of things need to work so that we can walk. So Baruch Hashem, the sea gave way to the land, and now we can walk. So in the most simplest sense, this is what the bracha is about, and is based on a Tilim 37 says, Hashem mitzadei gaver, konanu vedarko yechpatz. From Hashem, a mighty man's steps are established, for he delights in his way. But obviously, as we analyze it more deeply, and as I already mentioned it, this is a bracha that has to do very exclusively with Hashgacha Pratit, with Divine Providence. The Ayom Yom of the 10th of Tammuz, the 10th day of Tammuz, says the following. In the early period of the leadership of the Alter Rebbe taught the following. He said, the footsteps of man are directed by God. Meaning what? That when a Jew comes to a particular place, it is for an inner divine intent and purpose. For example, to perform a mitzvah, whether a mitzvah between man and God, or a mitzvah between man and his fellow. But if you are in a certain place, there's something for you to achieve there besides for what you think you will have to achieve. Because a Jew is Hashem's shliach, Hashem's messenger, and wherever a messenger or a shliach may be, he's representing the power of the Meshaleach. So if you are the shliach of Hashem, you represent Hashem wherever you go. The one who sent you. The superior quality that the neshama possesses, that the soul possesses, is higher than the angels, who are also shluchim, who are also messengers. But the souls are messengers by virtue of the Torah. So we've explained before, and we're going a bit deeper today, how the Baal Shem Tov says that everything happens by divine providence. And while you're doing business deals, or you're traveling here, you're going to New York for Pesach, you're walking to NMB for the Seder, or walking back, or you're doing whatever you need to do, you're taking your kids to school, you're going to buy your groceries, you're doing something. As you are doing any of these things, for whatever purpose you're doing, the hand of Hashem is directing what happens to open up certain opportunities that without Hashem's hand wouldn't have been there, for other spiritual or divine purposes, for other things you could achieve as you're trekking through your way. And you're interacting with people you didn't plan to interact to. And then you have a choice, like the Bachurim. No? They found themselves stuck, quote unquote, in a train for 24 hours. They could have said, look, it's cold, it's a blizzard, let's stay inside. Let's stay here. Let's stay protected. But they said, no, let's walk. Again, maybe they're also teenagers, so but they also decided to see how they could take advantage of the fact that they were there. Because if you're there for a reason, at the end you still have free will. Are you going to take advantage of it or not? So the previous bracha was saying, Hashem, allow me to see divine providence. So that after the fact you can see, oh wow, look, this happened and that happened, and you can see the divine providence, and that is pushing you to do better. But here you're saying, Hashem, give me the ability to execute on the guidance. You're guiding me towards a certain thing, but I still have to execute. I might not follow through. Right? So from early morning, we're trying to be conscious of this, so that when the opportunity comes, that we can achieve an objective that wasn't in our plan officially, but it is right now in front of us, that we take advantage of it. You're in a random place and you're in a hurry and you look and you see a Jew that needs help. You could say, I'm busy. Pesach is in 1 week. I have so much to do. Somebody else will take care of it. Or you could say, I'm here right in this moment, right now. He needs help. Maybe I should stop and help him. Or at least see if I can help him. Because if I wouldn't have any opportunity, any ability to help him, probably Hashem wouldn't have put him in my way. I would have taken another route or a red light here or there, and we wouldn't have found each other. And so you have to be ready sometimes to share a word of Torah. A good chassid maybe is ready with his tefillin or with things related to mitzvahim to help another Jew do a mitzvah. So that if you're stuck or stranded, you're never stuck or stranded. You're there for a reason and you're going to execute. And the Hasidic Rebbe once said, it is a fact that we're all here for a certain reason, for a certain purpose, that only you can achieve. It's only that you need v'darko yechpatz. You have to want to fulfill your mission and not slack off. Yeah. And so we've had in the previous brachos many tools that help us fulfill our mission and fight against the Yetzer Hara. Because without the help of all these other things, bitachon and this, we wouldn't be able to do it. And here we ask Hashem for a flow, that He helps us follow the road He has prepared for us. which a lot of times requires a certain right or left turn that maybe you weren't planning on doing, but if you open your eyes and see, now you can maybe execute and take advantage of this opportunity. This is the idea behind the 11th bracha. And I used to do this more often. Maybe this is more related to Pokech Ivrim than Amechim Tzadei Gaver. But I used to write a lot. I have a little Google Doc with anything that I would see B'Hashgacha Pratit, I would write it down. Sometimes you haven't seen a certain thing in Torah and you see it suddenly in 2 or 3 places in 24 hours. What's going on? I've never heard this before, and now I heard it 3 times. I saw it here and then randomly in another thing, or I met this guy or met that guy. I got caught by this light and like this. So there's no mitzvah to do this, but it can help you become more aware and hopefully even motivate you. So, oh look, I have something else to write. Let me stop here, help this guy. I'm going to write it down. My new Hashgacha Pratis story. So anyway, we should be successful in implementing the road that Hashem has opened up for us.